Hi, I'm Delta Work, and it's time for a brand new episode of Very Delta. Happy New Year and deck the hall. Jaida Essence Hall is here, but first, do you want to see me go off? Because I think you want to see me go off.
Mom!
Do you slay queen like me? Do you wear poinsettias like me? Ooh. Do you flock your tree like me? Do you want to come down my chimney? Are you a mistletoed like me? Are you a nutcracker like me? Well, if you are, you must be very Merry Delta. I'm Delta Work, and this is Very Delta, a luxury public access podcast and YouTube talk show where I look gorgeous, speak extemporaneously, and invite interesting people to sit on the couch and get very Delta. Very Delta is for the woman who prefers to not take down her holiday decorations. Today's show just keeps giving, but first, let's get into a few things that are very Delta. I don't want to let Christmas go. I like to start it early, and I like to keep it for as long as I can. There's something extra special about the time between Halloween and I would say New Year's, but even my birthday, because my birthday is, January 23rd. So there's something about that time that is all holiday to me. And not everybody celebrates Christmas. My family celebrates Christmas, but everything about that time of year is magical and mysterious to me. And I don't like letting it go. I don't know if it's because I'm an only child and Christmas was always a big thing. My mom worked really, really hard to make Christmas special with very little. I have a hard time like putting stuff away. I like looking at it. I like going out and buying the stuff. And some people say, oh, when you buy too many things, it's because you're covering something up or whatever. I'm not really covering anything up. I like looking at it. I like nutcrackers and Christmas trees that have little light ups on them. See that? Like these little furs. I like all of it. And I think there's something about, I love gifts at Christmas. I love giving gifts, but I really love seeing, even if people just have like a string of lights or if their window's open and I can see that they have their Christmas tree up. This year my neighbor had their Christmas tree up before we did. And I was devastated because I was like, I'm the one in this building who puts their tree up first. Like it was very personal. And, my partner was like, it's not that serious. But I like to have the tree up before Thanksgiving. Some people think that's too much. I think there's also there's a contingent of people that get overwhelmed by gift giving and the finance of Christmas that like to sort of jump on this bandwagon of I don't like Christmas. I don't know why can't we just enjoy Thanksgiving? Why do we have to have ornaments up? Bitch, I consider I consider Thanksgiving to not really even be its own holiday. I consider Thanksgiving to be the first dinner of the holiday season of Christmas. That's what it is to me. I love it. I need to see the ornaments out all the time. And they don't have to be expensive. I've said this before. I'll say it till the cows come home. I can have a nutcracker that's, I don't know, $25 and then something that's $1 or something that's $2,500. Like if I like it and I want to put it all out, why do I feel like this nail's popping off? I'm going to put it out. I want them to be up forever. Some people have a rule. They have a rule that their tree stays up till 3 Kings Day. I don't really have a rule. I will say in recent years, I feel like I've been responsible and taken the tree down by the second week of January. Some people say it should come down. Some people take it down on Christmas Day. I think it needs to stay up till New Year's. I mean, because, like I said, it's the holiday. So you want that in the backdrop of all your pictures. You want it in the backdrop of your Thanksgiving dinner. Even if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, I don't observe Thanksgiving the way everybody else does, but I certainly do eat turkey I don't eat turkey actually, I don't like turkey that much. I feel like turkey's very gamey no matter how it's cooked. Although I've had it smoked before, and smoked, baby, is out of this world. Ham, I can have ham. I like ham. I can have that in any way, shape, or form. Although I did see somebody make Spam with a glaze over it, which I would try. But I think they've changed the formulation of Spam in recent years because I had it not too long ago and it was a little bit like tart or something. Anyway, the ornaments, they're going to stay up. And here at Very Delta, the ornaments are going to stay up at least into the new year. Every year that this talk show is around, every year that even if this show was just a podcast, I'd still be sitting at a decorated desk. The beauty of leaving up your ornaments, obviously, is that it makes you happy and you get to display them longer and you get to get more use out of them. But I have realized that even though I take my tree down, because I live in a limited space, my space is also, my home is also my workspace. So it's also my office. It's also a design studio. So there's things going on there. So the tree does take up quite a bit of room, even though it's a half tree. It does take up quite a bit of room in the design space. So I do put it away. But I have friends that have realized that they don't like getting rid of Christmas either. So they keep the actual physical tree up all year round and they decorate it for each holiday. Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, patriotic season or 4th of July, whatever you want to call it, Halloween, Easter. I know I'm going out of order, but you get it. They decorate it all throughout the year. Some people leave it actually decorated as a Christmas tree, so red and green or whatever their thematic December offering was. But a lot of people leave them up forever. I will say that I think that there's people out there that are similar, but they kind of hide it. And they hide the fact that they don't want to get rid of Christmas because sometimes, March or April will roll around and you'll just see like a random blown out, dead, red, rusted, burnt Christmas tree like in an alleyway. And I just wonder, like, did the person just wait too long and they were like, oh, it's too long. How do I hide the tree? Or did they just leave it up forever? The way to prevent any embarrassment like that is just to get a fake tree. But if you're buying a real tree, people are going to know when you're getting rid of it because it's got to sit out at the dumpster or at the, on the side of your parking lot or wherever you get rid of your tree. By the way, dispose of your tree properly. If you have a fake tree or a real tree, whichever you're getting rid of, dispose of it properly. Like, don't just throw it on the side of the road and expect somebody to get rid of it. Like, you have to contact someone and say, hello, are you the one that picks up trees? And there's probably a fee that is incurred and you're going to have to pay that fee. If you live in an apartment building, don't be fucked up and just throw the tree inside the dumpster so that nobody else can throw their stuff away until the trash man comes and then they empty it out and then the next tree goes in. Like this, in my life, because I've always lived in an apartment building, it's always been that way. It happens that way for at least the first 2 months of the year, and it's fucked up. I would rather walk on my lips than talk bad about anybody, so I do not judge anybody for how long they leave their tree up. I will say I might judge you a little bit if you leave up a real tree and it starts to get like all shriveled and burnt, like I'm going to judge you for that just because you're going to get pine needles everywhere and it's going to be gross. But if you have a fake tree, I don't know where the judgment is. I don't know where the judgment is if you want to leave it up all year long. I don't know why anybody would be concerned about it or judge anyone for that. There's no latest. I have no latest. As I said, if it's becoming a fire hazard, that's how long. If your tree is becoming a fire hazard because if your tree is becoming a fire hazard because it has dried out and you haven't gotten rid of it, that's when it's time to get rid of it. That's the latest. If you are putting all of your ornaments away, I think it's a really good idea to get clear containers so you can see them when you store them. And if you've just gotten so much use out of the ornaments that you have and you don't want to have them anymore, do not throw them away. Donate them to a shelter or a place that doesn't have the ability to purchase stuff to decorate because maybe they can use it. If they can't, call. You can ask them, hey, are you taking these kind of donations? Maybe they are. If they're not, donate them to a thrift store like Out of the Closet or a place where the money is going to go right back into the community. Don't fucking donate anything to the Salvation Army or the Goodwill. They can fuck off. As much as I love having the ornaments up and as much as I like to keep them forever, I do feel a bit of I do feel a little bit renewed when I put them away. I do feel like, okay, now we have a clean slate. Now we can focus on, getting things back in order, because there is this sort of time between when the ornaments go up and when they come down. That's sort of constant play time. It's constantly like, it's okay to be a little bit messy because I'm wrapping presents over here, or I'm making a wreath, or these are things that may go back to the store or may not. And I'm talking about the idea of gift giving around the tree and around all of that. So there is a little bit of, because of all the hustle and bustle around decorating and what you're decorating for, that being the season of giving, that does get a little bit heavy. And so the idea of putting the stuff away, there is a finality to it because it's wrapped up until next year. It's all put away. I've given away, because every year I do end up getting rid of some of the ornaments because I have different thematic colors and I have different sizes that I like to keep in rotation. So there's a finality and like a closure. I'm never sad when it goes away. I just delay it because it's a lot of work to put it away. But there's some joy in that because you realize, Christmas is coming before you know it. Every year we say that, the next holiday, Easter or whatever, is something that people celebrate. And once that gets here, it's like every next holiday is just a countdown, basically, in my family anyway, to get to Christmas. Today, it's all in the family, the Mom Podcast family. I couldn't be more excited about my next guest. She is someone who is in just a handful of people who have won RuPaul's Drag Race and is now a podcaster. Please put your hands together. Show your love out there in YouTube land for the one and only Jaida Essence Hall.
Hey, y'all. Oh, my God. Hey, Delta. Thanks for having me.
Thank you
How
for
are
being
you?
here.
Thanks for having me. Look, I'm so glad to be here. I'm glad to be a part of the Mom family. And I'm so glad that you are a part of the Mom family.
I'm loving it. We're having a good time. We just I think it's so important that people hear all of our voices.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody has something to say.
I think everybody here at Mom has a different, as everybody in the world does, a different perspective, a different walk of life. And so if you just listen to every podcast, you're going to hear something different. You're going to hear your point of view, Heidi's ridiculousness. You're going to hear my, obvious gorgeous voice and wit. You can hear the humor of Shay. There's so much happening over at Mom. So I'm glad to be a part of the family.
I love it. I love it so much. Had you had experience with podcasting before? Had you been on other people's podcasts?
Chow, I had done. When you do Drag Race, you do a couple of the race. Mm-hmm. No, I had done Race Chaser. Not really. I had done a little talking part. We had done a game and that kind of thing, but I had not done any podcasting before, and I was also afraid because I thought nobody would want to just hear you talk. You're pretty. So just be pretty and drag. And that's kind of funny though, but I used to think that my value in drag was either the talent in the work or the look, or it was just me in drag. And I didn't really think that what I said myself kind of mattered until the podcast, till Hall and Closet.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's so important because you're so seasoned that in addition to looking great and being able to serve that on a stage, people want to hear about what you've done and what your point of view is based on all of those experiences. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How's it been for you? I think
it's fun.
It's a really fun experience, and I think even with me and Heidi, we do the podcast and we get to meet. It's sometimes we meet our fans in another way, where some of them see us from the show and they know what we can do as far as what our talent is, and not every person that comes from Drag Race has the opportunity like we do for people to really get to break down the mechanics of who you are and your mind and what you're interested in and the things that make you laugh and the things that make you cry sometimes. And I'm just happy that Mom has literally given us I feel like it has given me a voice.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I love that. Now, you are the very first person to ever win RuPaul's Drag Race from home.
In my goddamn house.
Yeah.
In my house.
That's sickening.
It was and you know what's so funny? Literally last night I was out at the club and Get Up came on, and I'm like, girl, this is my $100,000 song.
Yeah, yeah.
From my living room. And like, I just think of, like, and literally every time I hear the song, I think about like what it took for me to win that from home. I'm like, I was literally in my living room dancing on my landlord's head upstairs at like 2 a.m. trying to record the video. And like, and I would record it and I would watch it back and I'm like, doesn't look like I'm gonna win if I do this. I'm like, re-record it, start it over, and I kept going and going and going. And but I'm glad like it all paid off, and like hopefully nobody else will have to win a show from their house like that. That was wild.
Well, that's got to be interesting because just in drag in general or in any art that you do, people say, oh, don't get in your head, don't get in your head. So in addition to getting in your head, like you were stuck within those walls.
Yeah. I mean, and that was the thing too. It was like not only was it like I was stuck in those walls like for the performance, but it was like also in that same space the entire time because we were locked in our houses. So it was like taking a space that I have been like, it almost kind of felt like a prison in a way. Like when we were all at home, it's like you want to go out, you want to do other things. And for me, I'm like a very social person. So for me being at home, I'm like, this is the most horrible thing that I could imagine. And my home felt so familiar, and to like try to be like, okay, we have to transform, not even just like I had to transform my mental space to be like, don't imagine that you're here in your house. You have to imagine that like you're either in a studio or you're on a stage or somewhere else but in this living room that you've been in for like the last 3 months solid.
Right. That's got to be so scary. Now you also right after your season, the Vegas show started happening. Yeah. Which is neat. I mean, the show just starts branching out, and the idea that there would be a show where people could see what they watch on television but play out in front of them. Yeah. And you have been part of that, right?
Yeah, I did the Vegas show last year and like from February through April, and like it's been the most amazing thing. And one of the best things about the show too is that like there are fans of the show who come and see the show. Like I had like one of my favorite fans flew all the way from London to see us in the Vegas show for their 21st birthday, and it was like amazing. But then sometimes you also have like people who have no idea what Drag Race is. They come into the show and then they get like a quick story or a quick version of what the show is, and then they leave with like an appreciation for the show. And it's not like it's where you might go to a musical and you might leave and be like, oh, I love the music and I'm gonna be listening to the music and thinking about the show. You leave Drag Race Live and you might love the music and be thinking about the show, but then you're also thinking about Drag Race. Right. And then now you want to know more about drag, and then that might lead you, like you could be a complete stranger on the street and you walk in and see the Drag Race show. You go home and like, what is Drag Race? You get more into it, and then you learn about what queerness is to us, and your next thing you know, your mind is expanded. So I'm glad to be a part of like something so wild and something so new in Vegas, and it's hot, and the show is fun. The girls are hot. Yeah, we have. I know you like old school, the old school vibe. So in the back, baby, we like kiki, run around. It's like family time, good fun energy. It's like the best thing ever.
Yeah, I took myself and my partner went to go see the show. I said I want to buy front row tickets. I want to see all of it. And it is, I mean, really the amount of work that goes into it and the dedication, it's absolutely beautiful. I definitely see, I really do see aspects of the actual Drag Race episodes. Like it really does translate on the stage. It's just done so well. Thank you. The fact that you have to like kind of do those same numbers consistently, they become, I guess, kind of like, you know it like the back of your hand. But is there ever any like a snafu, like maybe a shoe isn't buckled in time or anything like that?
The thing is like when we are in the back and we like kiki, like as always happens with drag, we're in the back like running around talking, and like we have like after in the beginning it's very like kind of rushed. So we start off like with an entrance moment. We all come in the workroom, and then after we do that, we kind of like run in the back and we have to change quickly for like a mini challenge moment. So we do the mini challenge moment, and then after that is like we have to change again. Right. Quickly, we do like a on-stage chitter-chatter. You've seen it. And we run backstage after that last moment in the robes, and we have plenty of time depending on where you are in the lineup. So if you're first, you change immediately. You really don't have a lot of time. But like for myself, I was going last in the show. So I would go upstairs, and I'm upstairs talking with Derek, and I'm like just having the best time in the world, kind of in my outfit, kind of not. And then I'll hear Derek's music. I'm like, oh my God, wait a minute. you have to throw the outfit off really fast, running down the stairs really quick. But even though everything is like with the show, we have it because it's on a time and we have to make the time. The curtains have to close. The show has to open and start when it's supposed to. It feels so repetitive, but there are moments like even in the back where you get ready and your shoe will break or the zipper will break, and thankfully we have like an amazing team with like wardrobe, and they are right there to like either pin it or try to stitch it or try to take the shoe off and replace it with another pair of shoes or whatever we can do. And it's wild, and it's also one of the things I've never in my life imagined that I would do. Like, like, I'm sure you imagine having this talk show, or maybe not, but I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, there's things I'm like, oh, I would love to be on the stage performing. That would be great if I could do that. Right. But being in Vegas on the Strip, working a show, I never in my life, even growing up, I didn't even think that was an option for me. So it's a humbling experience to be there. Yeah, it's so sickening because, I mean, honestly, we think about, like, people knew who you were before Drag Race, but it does give us this platform, and it has created a platform where opportunities arise from other opportunities. And so, like you said, whether you believed that you could do it or didn't, that opportunity maybe wasn't really there until the show was established to say, well, we can put in this kind of show. So it's really something where, regardless of where you land on the show, or if you go home early or you win the show or whatever, you are given at least an equal platform to start something or do something or make your voice heard. And it's like, and I'm like, I always tell people that all the time. I'm like, it's so amazing to, like, even for my resume, I'm like, how many drag queens can say, like, I've headlined a show on the Vegas Strip? That's 100%. Like so major. So maybe Broadway's next. I mean, it probably is. Jinx is literally on Broadway. Yeah. So anything's possible for queens these days. I think everything is possible. Yeah, it's everything. So this is a very random question. Okay. But sometimes random questions are the best. My favorite. What's in your refrigerator? Oh my God. Right now I have an old veggie tray. Okay, I like that. That was in the back of the refrigerator. The refrigerator for some reason was too cold, and it froze. Mine gets like that. And it froze the vegetables. Frozen carrots. So then, and then they thawed out, and I was like, I cannot eat soggy celery. Some water. I definitely have like 3 flavors of probably old creamers that should be thrown out. What's your number one creamer if you could only have one? Ooh, if I could have one, it would probably be like a hazelnut vibe. I like that. A hazelnut vibe. Kind of goes with everything. Yeah, smooth it out. It's like giving very Nutella. I like that. Nutella in the coffee and a spread in the morning. I love it. Do you drink coffee? Yeah. Do you drink tea? I love tea. I'm a tea bagger. Okay. Down. Like, literally, even usually when I go to like Starbucks or like a coffee shop, I'm always getting like a tea latte kind of vibe. Okay. I do love tea. If you just had a tea bag, because you're a tea bagger, what would you put? Would you just drink it straight like that, or do you like put stuff in it? I usually drink it like maybe like a little bit sweetener. Okay. Sometimes I heard people drink it with, like, in the UK, they drink it with like milk and stuff. I've never done that. I'm not really. I mean, I guess that if I'm having the coffee with it is kind of a similar thing, but it's not. That's not for me. I don't know. I feel like it would just be like water milk. Yeah, like weird. It would just be weird. Not heavy enough or something, because to support, like, the milk would become more of the drink. Like, it would be floaty on the top or start look weird, separate. I don't know why I think that, because you're right, people do it, and coffee is really just strained through. I just thought that this is a weird question. I'm asking you questions. This is your show. Do you drink that weird coffee that's that instant coffee? I have had it, but I don't normally drink it. It's very weird, right? Yeah, I have had it in my life, but it's not my go-to. It feels smoky or something. It feels very. You know what I had that reminds me of that? This is going to sound weird too. Is I had pizza from 7-Eleven, and I was eating it, and I was like, I want to like it because I'm really hungry, but this tastes like a dirty oven. Yeah. Like, it tastes like the other things were cooked in the oven. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, very much like when you go to like one of those places and they like fry food, or you go to like Burger King sometimes and you eat your French fries and they taste like onion rings. Well, okay, this funny you say that, because Jack in the Box now has this, they always have all their little fried foods. They have the favorites box that has like onion rings and French fries and maybe nuggets or something. But then they also have cinnamon churros mixed in there. Why would I want that with seasoned fries? Why would
They
they
show
do
it in the
that?
and they show it in the picture.
Is it like just like
it's all thrown in
like
there?
a crab boil of just fried
Yeah, like
shit?
yeah, that's a perfect description. Like
no, I don't like that.
I don't want
my
seed in
churros.
there.
And I'm not one of those people that are like weird about like I don't want my food touching each other. But I'm like,
But that doesn't make
don't
sense.
Want to eat a churro with like.
Why
would you want a churro with an onion ring?
It seems very lazy. Like we're just gonna throw it all in one.
They probably
box.
just.
Well, they originally started these little boxes called munchie boxes that were and they were supposed to be their quote late night menu, and their whole target was straight up people who were stoned and wanted to eat at night.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Somebody
told
me about
munchie
this.
meals.
See, this is the thing. We don't have that in like the Midwest up there. So we never have it. And then we came down. It's like Jack in the Box, right?
Right.
So I had Jack in the Box maybe like one time in Texas. I don't know if I was like.
He wasn't there for you.
It was giving me feeling like I had eaten all the fried things together and I really didn't.
Oh, it's very that.
Yeah, it's giving no matter what you eat from there is feeling like you also ate
it's all
the
from
other
same
shit.
fryer.
Yeah, it's all the same shit, even the burgers.
And I think, no, you're right, because I do think that it is that way. I don't think they have that many fries because they have egg rolls, chicken strips, onion rings, French fries, curly fries, churros. They don't have six pots of grease.
They don't.
No, they don't.
I'm telling you, I worked at a diner restaurant kind of place in Milwaukee, and I was a waiter and a cook. Oh my God, I can't believe I used to cook at the restaurant, but I was a cook.
Okay.
And we had like the 2 fryers, and I would be frying so much shit, and we would just fry everything in there. It was just 2 fryers, and everything would go.
There's only so much room.
Onion rings, French fries, chicken tenders, chicken nuggets. Omelets.
Not omelets, right? But everything.
Boiling eggs in the
If
fryer.
it could fit in
whatever
there, it would go in there.
If we could fry it, we were frying it in that thing. So I'm sure at like
omelets.
Hopefully there they have like 3
water.
optional ones, but literally fried water, fried ice cubes. My favorite thing, and literally my favorite thing to eat there was when you would like, I'm just imagining now like high food, delicious snack.
Okay.
When we would like make the tenders after all the tenders would be fried in the bag. This is low key, y'all. This is like crazy. It's giving me like flashbacks.
The crumbs.
Oh
my God.
All the crumbs. And then they
would
would be like in the bag, like all frozen, all like, and you just dump them. Some would be like the size of a quarter. Some would be smaller. Some would be maybe, and they would be so. That was my guilty pleasure.
Good.
Yeah.
Wait, so Milwaukee, is there White Castle there?
No.
It's
they have one in Kenosha.
Okay.
Wow. Look, let me give y'all some information about Wisconsin. Chicago is like south of Milwaukee, so like coming from Chicago is like Chicago, and then up to Wisconsin is like Kenosha, Racine, Wisconsin, and then Milwaukee.
Wow.
So Kenosha is like you would basically have to drive like an hour to go to the White Castle.
Okay, so that's a distance.
Yeah.
Have you had it before?
I had White Castle before. I am not a White Castle girl.
I never had it.
You've never had White Castle?
Well, we can get it in the freezer section, but that's always going to be different.
It's the same.
Oh, it's the same thing?
It's very much giving onion.
It's
giving
appealing.
Onion burgers, and literally everybody is. They call them fart burgers up there, or they call them the burgers, and. I'm like, baby, if you're always eating them and you always feel like you have to shit immediately after, maybe you should. It's probably something that usually it's a reaction from your body. You probably shouldn't be just eating things that make you shit immediately.
I've never had a fart burger. I need a fart burger in my life. I have to have one. I have to.
Do you like the ones from the store?
I never had it.
Oh, you never had it?
I've just seen it. I've seen it in the freezer section, and
it's
I'm like,
giving very dicey, small little onions, very like tiny, like little. The bread, and sometimes and from the store, the bread is very like soggy.
It looks like it would be a joke. Like
I'm not coming for anybody that loves White Castle, so don't come after me. If y'all fucking with White Castle and y'all are fart.
Right. Fart burgers.
But I'm not.
Fried fart burgers.
I'm
going to say
with
fart
onion.
burger for the rest of my life. This episode needs to be called Fart Burger.
Fried fart burgers, literally.
But I'm still on this thing about the fried crumbs.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's a hit. It literally was a hit. Oh,
because I could even see that on soup.
Put it on a salad.
That's what I was thinking. Ooh, that would be so good because you would get, instead of having to cut a piece of chicken, it would just kind of be everywhere. It would just be because it's just the batter.
It's just in there, yeah.
Batter.
Just
maybe some
there.
chicken, but mostly
and it's
batter.
also better than croutons, which cut the top of your mouth like Wolverine.
What kind of dressing do you like on a salad?
French and ranch together, if possible.
Ooh, I've never met anyone like that.
You never had that before?
No.
Oh, it's good. It's really good.
French and ranch together. I would try it.
It's very good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very good. But I'm usually a ranch kind of girl.
I think that's a pretty good go-to.
Very standard, yeah.
Yeah, that is a good go-to.
Or maybe vinaigrette.
I love that. Let's take a break and we'll be right back. And we are back with my extra special guest, my mom sister here at the Mom Family, the one and only Jaida Essence Hall. It's the new year. I mean, we were just talking about anything is possible, everything is probable.
Everything is probable.
What are you looking at for this year? I'm one that I don't like to make resolutions or say I got to have this, and this done. But you kind of put your eyes a little bit on a prize, like I'd like to see a little more of this or do a little more of this.
You know what? This year I'm looking forward to like working hard, but I actually want to spend a lot more time with my family this year.
I love that.
So
you deserve that.
Yeah, like since doing Drag Race, I feel like I've been like almost like going nonstop. And I know that I'll be working a lot next year, but I'm making it my mission to make sure that I'm spending a lot of time with my family. Make sure that I'm like putting my mental health on the front line, because like the work that we do is oftentimes like very rigorous. It's like can be very taxing on like you don't see the people you care about the most a lot. Right. And so I'm like, I want to put that back in my foreground. I want to make sure that I'm looking at that, driving that direction.
You deserve that. You deserve to set your boundaries for what you need. And just as you said, mental health, because I think a lot of people think that when they hear the term mental health, they think of like the extreme of, they think of an institution, or they think, but what they don't realize is that there's so many taxing things when you're working consistently in a Vegas show. You've won the show. As a winner of the show, I always refer back to like Raja when we experienced that. I just thought your friends are pulled in these directions that not everybody else is pulled into. So like when Sonique won, and Sonique and I have been friends for a million years, it's just something where you think like, yes, there's an expectation on anybody that's been on the show, but the winners of the show are pulled in another direction. And your mental health, really, people try it.
I think it's all like, I feel like anybody. Mental health is like, I feel like it's like just the same way as like gender. Mental health is like a spectrum.
Yes.
Most people think of it as like, it has to be extreme and then seek help. I'm like,
I'm so glad you said
every
that.
single day of our lives, every moment that we're living, every step that we're making, we need to be conscious of like how that is affecting us mentally and affecting the people around us mentally. Like, you don't want to wait until it's too late, or wait until you have like some kind of like major issue for you to then be like, feel like you need to address like mental health issues.
You are so right. Like, I don't think anyone's really put it that way. I haven't really thought about that, but that is so true. It is a spectrum.
Yeah. It's very much that, and like like and that's why they say check on your good friends, because sometimes people are giving you very extreme signs that something's wrong, and sometimes it could be just simply like hey, normally when we talk you always answer the phone, and today you've been a little. Is everything okay? And then your part in your life, you need to be able to speak up and be like, okay, I'm not okay, or what's going on, like. I feel like even like the way and social media has made me think of it almost as a spectrum. Like any of us, depending on our job, social media could be more taxing on us. But everybody who has a social media is now like in a place where people can attack you, people can tell you that they don't like the things you're doing, make you question who you are, question the validity of your existence in your life. And so those things even like work on your mental health, you know what I mean? And so, and like even working a job, most people work jobs they don't even like. That is frustrating on your mental health. So like, it's like having somebody to talk to, being able to like trust and talk to friends that you have and everything like that, and just being open. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out myself too. So
yeah, we learn every day. I mean, and it's easy for some of us. I know it's easy for me to say to people, I'm not worried about what people say in the comments, but I'm also a real person, and sometimes a notification will come up and you'll see it and you'll think, no, I want to talk to this person. I want to say this and be like, you know what? You don't really know what's going on here. This is not what happened. You're saying this, X, Y, and Z. And then I do sit back and I say, well, if I had time to respond to them, how come I didn't respond to all the other nice people that said something positive? I'm trying, but we're human.
Everybody's human. And like the thing is like, I would say that all the time to some of my season 12 sisters when we would get like, that's like, I'm like, you have to think about it. There's like, you have 1,000 people. Thankfully, we're in a position where you will have 1,000 people who would comment on a post that you make, and like 1,000 people who would even care to take the time out of the day to write something. Of those 1,000 people, maybe 10 of those people said something negative. But there was 990 people that told you that you were beautiful, that you are loved, that you're talented, and they like the things that you do. And the thing about that is, like, not everybody in the world is waking up and having hundreds of people tell them that they matter.
Right.
Regardless of those negative people, it's like you kind of want to just shut them out. But the reality, like you said, we are human. And so when you see it and you hear it, it does, like, sometimes, like, that kind of thing. You think about it all day. You're like, well, yeah, I think I like my hair like that.
Or I'm like, this bitch said what?
Yeah. Or
no, let me see what really happened. And I'm like, bitch. And if you knew, girl, I don't even. And I'm like this.
Like, and then half the time, realistically, like, you'll explain that shit to somebody, does not matter. Like, they already have formed an opinion about you. Or
what about when you get those people that will say something like super negative, and then if you respond back, they'll go, no, I was just kidding. I really love you. I love you, though.
I had this moment where I had, after I won, somebody wrote something about I was a fugly slut. It was giving me I was like, wow, this is giving me extremely childish, like Mean Girls. I'm like, that's a movie about high schoolers, but whatever.
Right.
And so he was like telling me that I was ugly, and then after that, we performed at the Drive and Drag show. So I guess sometimes people's opinions can change. But then they DM'd me and was like, oh my God, you were amazing at the show. You were my favorite. I thought you were so sickening. But I'm like,
come on now.
Above that was like the horrible, like the raggedy negative comment.
You're
I'm
so
like,
ugly and gross.
And I just put like the laughing emojis and just left it. I'm like, child, I'm not even going to entertain you.
And I think it's just that thing. Some people just, any attention, negative or positive, they just want somebody to acknowledge them, which is sad, because I think there are people out there, when we speak of mental health, there are people out there that they just need somebody to say to them, you know what, you're a really good cook.
Yeah.
You know what, you are really good at making winged eyeliner. Like something. But some people don't have anyone to tell them anything.
I'm telling you, that's why I try. I'm like, I try not to be fake, because you don't want to ever be fake, girl.
Right.
Don't ever just be out here telling people you think something is nice that you don't think is nice on them, because that's that's horrible for somebody's mental health to find out that you're gaslighting them, or like, so you can, like, the thing is like, some people are really good at things. So when I see people, and I meet people, I'm like, I do honor the things that I notice about them that I feel like is great, because I'm like, I feel like the same way I walk down the street and people are like, hey Jaida, I recognize you from the show. I think you're so funny and so talented. And like, some days people don't even know. Some days I'm like having like recently going through like crazy things in my life, and I'm like, people never know what you're going through, and that will like perk my day up. So I'm like, when you see somebody, you like see them in a cute skirt, tell them, hey girl, your skirt is cute.
Right.
Or if they looking cute today, you have no idea how that might not even just turn their day around, turn their lives around, because some people might never hear that from people every day. You know what I mean?
No, 100%.
Or it's probably months that they hear that from people. You know what I mean?
This is totally off the wall, but it's something I've been thinking about, because you have traveled with a troupe of people performing. Then you've also had the Vegas show. Because everything is so timed, I don't think people realize how much goes into putting your whole look together. And sometimes you have a helper, but sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
Do you have like a format of what you put on, like, as you go? Like, is it like dress first, then shoes, or wig? Like, how do you do it?
It's when we do when we did the Vegas show is like very just so like run like very military. It's like strict, has to be the same thing. But when we do the Vegas, when we did Work the World, like my number, I was like last in the tour, so we really only have 2 numbers in the show. So we do our own solo number, and then we do like a group number. So for me, it was like I would just sit around. I'm like waiting. I have like pretty much the entire night to do my number. So I put on my look, and then we change. Then after that, it's like a very quick change to like do the finale number. And so I was doing that for a while until I had to start hosting the show. And when I hosted for Work the World, I had to obviously wear more things and like have to come from I would have to come from the meet and greet and like get ready sooner than I would before. And so it was like wild. But when I get ready, I'm in the back. I'm like, I want to first, I'm like, before it was like do body, but now I'm like working on pulling all of that kind of stuff out of my wardrobe, because y'all, I get some people are like, oh, when you do the show, they're like, you stop wearing your drag body. But I'm like, when you do those tours and you are on the road and you are putting a hot body that you danced in all night in your luggage and closing the luggage and putting it on the bus.
It smells hot.
It's getting very hot for no reason. It's getting very hot. It's getting very jungle booty. It's all of that. And so I'm like, now it's like a difference between like corset, pull on a corset, put on, like when we did the show and I was hosting, I had this really like nasty, like Marco did it. It's like a mad scientist jumpsuit.
Oh, nice.
And so like we pull that on and then put the boots in. Like I'm the girl that I'm doing my hair extremely last.
Okay.
I'll have full makeup, full lipstick, eating with lipstick, drinking, having a smoke with lipstick, everything with lipstick, but the wig is like off until the very last minute.
Sure.
That's my favorite thing to do is put the wig last because I'm like, don't want the hairs all in the face, all around. When you're digging down, buckling shoes, it's falling everywhere, moving around.
It does. It does get everywhere. It is something you have to do, I think, last for sure. I always feel like I have to like put on the dress, put on shoes, and then I usually try to do the things that if I didn't have time for them, maybe those will be the least noticeable. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I have my security things. Like I usually wear nail. I always wear nails, but that's just a security thing in my mind. I always put too much hairspray and shit where it turns white in the front.
I was like real coated.
Very
coated.
Like
a spider, sprayed all over
very
it.
Very coated. And then, if you have like lace on the wig and you peel it off and it looks like 2 pieces of bacon on the side.
Yeah, it's crunchy.
I'm like, girl. And of course people are like, clean your lace right after. I'm like, I'll get it tomorrow.
The thing, the best person that I know in my life about cleaning laces is Derek Barry.
Oh, she's good about it, huh?
She is Derek is like, after the show, she'll like spray.
Smart.
And then it'll loosen and she'll take it off. And like, I don't have the patience for that. I'm like, at the end of the show, I'm like, rip it off, put it in the bag, and then we'll do it tomorrow.
When it gets bad, I'll get a new wig.
And it's like you forget about that until tomorrow, and then you'd pull it out. It's like
the pads you were talking about.
Yeah.
Like, then when you go take it out, you're like, oh, why is this serrated? Like
very that.
Why is it like this?
Oh my god! And then he's like trying to stretch it down. It's a mess. So
and then this eye comes like this, and you're like, what is wrong with my glaze?
Oh my god! And like the hair, literally like wig hairs are getting stuck in the lace. It's just a hot mess
all the time.
Yeah.
And people always say like because like of the lace in them, like you don't want to rip any of the hairs out because you can see those.
Oh yeah. And
then I'm like, I don't really care. Like
it's like you spend a lot of money on hair.
Right.
But also at the same time, I'm like, I am not the type of person who wants to be spending, like, I spent the money on the hair. I bought it because I wanted it to be, like, easy and convenient. Like, cleaning a lace every single night, I don't feel like it's the most convenient thing.
I'm fine with shake and go. If I can shake and go or stack one on top of the other.
That's why I'm wearing my interview hair today.
Yeah, because it's perfect. It looks great. It frames you great.
Thank you.
You don't need... It doesn't always have to be that. It's nice to have that, but it's not always functional or realistic.
Yeah. I have to learn that because like when I still like travel and go like to like do some gigs, I'm always still like bring good hair, bring really good hair. So I bring like 2 like the most heavy hair that I own in my life that's pulling me back like this, or it's the hair with like the most delicate fragile lace that if you touch it too much, it's gonna tear and rip the whole lace, the wig in half. So it's like you want to be glam, but you have to have like actual real functional hair pieces too.
And oftentimes you're in a space where you don't know where you're going to be getting dressed. Like if you're going to a nightclub or something and you have that hair, where are you going to set it that it's not going to be in someone's makeup or,
Or if you get somewhere and like the lighting is not right to lay the lace right.
Oh, and it's just a line.
Yep.
And you're like, it doesn't always look like that though. But today, I had one in the back I was going to wear and I was like, oh yeah, this is ready to go. And then I was like, even with a filter, but it doesn't look like that other places.
Yeah.
You never know.
You never know. The lighting, this scenario situation is always different. You might be getting dressed in a broom closet. There might not be a single piece of light. Who knows? So
that's why I always feel like
ready.
Other queens that do that, wear the same kind of idea or whatever. I'm never really like concerned or embarrassed around them because I know they're like, it probably doesn't look like that in other lighting. I'm sure she knows what you know what I mean?
Sometimes
but it's always
it does.
Strange. Oh, sometimes it does.
Sometimes it's just looking like that.
But strangers are the people that don't do it are the ones that will like try to clock it.
Yeah.
And you're like, girl, you have no idea how this
I'm
works.
like, baby, I would take it out, take it off, and let you lay it down.
Right. You show me how you do it.
Show me how it's laid down.
How you lay yours down.
Let's see how it's laid down. Like your lash is not even laid down properly.
Right.
You're worried about the way I'm laying my lace.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Right.
crazy.
Let's take a break.
Okay, let's take a break.
Let's take a break. We are back. I'm here with Jaida Essence Hall. We are talking about why these Christmas ornaments are still up. Why, when you buy one thing, you have to buy several things. So there's enough for the mantle, for the this, for the that. But this is the section of, or the segment of the podcast called Read Me Delta. Read Me Delta! Where people will send letters from the listeners. They'll send questions, comments. Usually we don't like the comments.
Okay.
Then I feel like that leads into a conversation where I'm like, send me your comments. And they're like, guess what? I don't like your white dress. You asked for a comment.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And you're like, ooh.
Okay, send comments that are relevant to life
Right.
that can start a conversation.
Right. Or you can send pictures. Maybe if you have like random pictures that make sense.
Sexy pictures.
Send them to readmedelta@gmail.com. I have a letter here. So let's start with this one. No
oh
idea
my
what's
God,
in
I
this.
love this in the envelope.
I know, right?
And with the Christmas decorations, is giving very Santa.
Oh, this is going to be a long one. Okay. Jada reads.
It's for me. Okay.
Okay, so you take your time with that.
Okay. Dear Delta, what's your favorite event to spend with your entire family? I imagine you loving a quinceañera. Showing up in a blush crushed velvet turtleneck mini skirt, white bolero length motorcycle jacket, and white thigh high pleaser boot. Your hair is dark rooted wine red with a side part Marcel wave, mid back length. I'm imagining this hair. You have 3-inch ombre burgundy stiletto cut nails with Swarovski embellishments. As per your makeup artist Instagram, you reinvented the wheel of winged liner and baby hair with ponytail installation, and no one can match your skill level ever. Wing liner almost touching the edge of your hairline with holographic tiny star stickers on top of matte white eyelids. Giant princess cut engagement rings next to you and your husband's initials tattoo. Your husband holding your hand and noticeably kissing your shoulder as he sits next to you so that any single non-relative guest doesn't ask you to dance. Okay, I'm almost done.
Take a breather.
Let me take a sip, too. Okay, yeah. I love someone that can paint a picture.
Right.
Suddenly your song comes on. Guess what it is? Keith Sweat Twisted.
That's the song.
Bitch,
That's
down.
the song.
Oh, my God, at the quinceañera?
At the quinceañera.
I love it.
Yeah.
Right after Selena. Your husband left to the restroom. It's your chance to dance without him. You walk to the dance floor center and sway seductively, every few seconds pulling your skirt back down as it rises. Uh-oh. Are you being frisky?
I mean...
Your husband comes out of the restroom, sits you back down next to him, and you stay seated together the whole night.
That's a lot at a quinceañera.
And the question was, what's your favorite event to spend with your entire family?
Making tamales before Christmas.
Yes,
Yeah,
really.
That'll be it. Yeah. I actually don't do anything. Like we do it like an assembly line. So it would be like, here's the husks and here's the masa and here's the meat and here's the cheese or whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
I like to just show up and sort of act like I'm facilitating, but I don't really have a station.
Manager.
Right. And I just kind of walk around and I'm like, hey, does anybody want something from Taco Bell or like...
Logistics is very important.
Right. And so I go run errands, but I act like I'm really doing something. But I'm
that's important. It's running errands, it's morale boosting.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people need water while working.
Right.
It's care about the people, and you're doing great work.
You see, I need
Don't be
you
hard
around
on
me
yourself.
more often.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, like sometimes too, we'll get booked for events and they'll say, we just want you to kind of mix around.
Yeah.
We're just there for like, just that.
Just being in the room.
I'm just there for color.
Okay. Oh, my God.
I'm there for color.
Sexy decoration.
Decoration. That's what I like to do at family events.
And that is also important because sometimes you do have to bring glamour. Making tamales is not and y'all might think it seems like a glamorous thing, but it's not a glamorous thing.
It's just work.
And sometimes you need glamour in that room.
Right.
And you provide that.
Right. What kind of family events do you like?
I'm a very my family is crazy. So I love when we get together and we're like playing spades and like my family is like rapping in the house. My niece is like a rapper and so she's like
awesome.
she's like very young and very talented and like so she'll like do like little concerts in the house and then we'll play like music extremely loud and like shaking. My mama's on the floor twerking. I'm twerking on top of my mama. We like just having the best time ever and like that's what I love to do. Like I love like just being wild at home with my family and just having like the best time.
Do you have siblings?
I have 5 brothers. One of them passed away, but so I have 4 now. Yeah, but thank you. But I have 5 brothers, and like literally, if you think I'm wild, like all 6 of us are like, my mom included, we're all like crazy.
How fun!
Crazy off the walls.
How fun!
I love it.
And where do you land in the age
upper
range?
middle child.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like I have 2 brothers who are older than me. Then it's me, and then I have 3 brothers younger. Yeah.
Wow, that's so cool.
Very weird.
Family.
Yeah,
I have. I'm an only child. Yeah, I know, and also from a single parent.
Oh.
So I think that's why I'm a little quirky and a little bit like over analytical about things that don't need to be analyzed.
Yeah, but
that's just me.
Really? Mm-hmm. Oh no! Did you feel like you wanted to have like?
I think because I never knew. Like I have cousins that I'm very close with.
Yeah.
So they were always like older siblings to me, but I was like growing up at like, I don't know. I mean, my mom sort of entrusted me to do a lot of things because she was always working, double shifts everywhere. So when I was a kid, I grew up like walking to the power building or whatever to go pay the power bill.
Yeah.
You
going
get entrusted.
To the laundromat.
Yeah, you get entrusted to do things.
Yeah.
But you grow up quick. I guess that's good. But I think this kind of stuff, like my Christmas stuff or whatever, is just things that are like toys to me in my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's just kind of the thing.
Fun things. Yeah. I don't know. Like when we grew up and like I feel like having brothers is like sometimes like a thing where you bump heads a lot and like sometimes there was a lot of argument, but there's like so many like fun moments that we have together. Like we get to like that we would like growing up, like we would like when we played games like Yu-Gi-Oh, or we would have like we could with 6 of us we would have our own tournaments. We could literally go out and play football 3 against 3. We would play basketball 3 on 3. We like everything that we would do. We was like so many of us that we could just like do it together and like do it in the house by ourselves. So that was like a real fun thing. But sometimes when I was younger, I would be like, I wonder what it's like to be an only child. But I feel like I couldn't trade the memories at all. Yeah.
No. And how do they feel about you doing drag, about what you do?
It's crazy because all of my brothers like super supportive of like what I do and then like even more so is like all of their partners are all like some of their partners are like 2 of my brothers have like one of my brothers has like a partner and she's like very much like a fan of like the work that I do in the show. So we'll be at the house and she'll be like, look over there. Like randomly and then be like, or she'll be like, I was listening to the podcast and you said this and it's like, and so they like always are like very very wrapped around everything that I'm doing and stuff like that. So sometimes my brothers, I give them information about like everything that I have going on, but even when they don't, like their partners always are like, did you see this? Or like, did you see the photo shoot? And they'll like text me like, hey, you look really great when you did this. And like, it feels good to like know that like my brothers are super supportive of like, especially like being Black and queer, like that they support my decision to do drag and what I'm doing in my life.
I mean, it sounds like just even before that question, like the way you were talking about your family is that everybody in your family is like a great character.
Yeah,
and is
very much,
and is of good character.
Yeah,
that says a lot. That says a lot about where you're going and what you have behind you. I love that. Not everybody gets to say that. That's so awesome that you have that feeling.
Yeah. Well, it's sickening. But I have to say to you, it's sickening that like I feel like for me sometimes like having a big family and having them be supportive to me has like been a great thing that like helped me get where I am today. So I'm like, for you, I'm like, that's amazing that like it was just you alone and not like a village of people in the house to like rear you up to get the confidence and everything to do this and
Yeah, I guess we all find it different ways. You know what I mean?
slaying with a podcast and a talk show.
Both of us, we got these podcasts. Do you love doing your podcast?
I love my podcast, and I'm so excited for the future of the podcast.
So here's another letter.
Work. I love the details.
Of just all these little
The
goodies.
details, yes.
A mess. All right, here's
I
another.
love the smell
this
of holiday.
Oh, here we go. Wow,
Okay.
this is a really elegant letter.
Okay. Ooh.
You ready for it?
Is it in cursive?
Well, the words are yeah. Hey, Delta and Jaida.
Hi.
Fuck, marry, kill.
Oh, I live. Can we add fist?
Oh, I like that. Pee, poop, barf. Love, Patty.
Okay.
So which one are you gonna marry? Which one are you gonna fuck? Which one are you gonna marry? Which one are you gonna kill? Urine, excrement, or vomit?
This is fucked up.
This is fucked up because I mean, I'll answer it after you just because I want to follow suit.
I'm gonna get right into it.
Okay.
Fuck, marry, kill. I'm gonna say, oh fuck. I'm gonna kill shit.
Okay.
Kill the poop. Down. I'm going to.
This is gross.
This is fucking crazy.
It is crazy. It is crazy.
No, I'm gonna have to kill.
Lord.
Oh God. See, it's
everything going
chaotic.
I know.
I guess fuck, Mary P.
Mary P.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll marry P. It's golden like a ring.
Okay.
And then that means I would have to fuck vomit.
You know when people make those like vomiting noises when they're having sex, like if
Yeah.
they're giving oral sex
Yeah.
and they're like
I've definitely almost.
You've done that?
I've definitely almost vomited.
Do you have a gag reflex?
Yeah.
You do.
And
You
this
have
is
a
the
limit.
thing. People think that a lot of people have gag reflexes.
Right.
Some people are just good at going against the grain, honey.
Right.
Not me, bitch. I'm gonna do my job
Right.
because it's a job, and you pull up and when you sign up for a job, you go to work,
Uh-huh.
and I'll do that. But also at the same time, I'm very.
But I think it's funny when somebody's like when they have like they're forcing someone's head down and then like it's quiet for a minute and they go like they pull like they can't have any more breath. Okay, I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. Listen, I have been very honest about
Poop.
needing to use the bathroom. And when I need to use the bathroom, I'm like, it's time to go to the bathroom. So I'm going to marry poo only because I understand
Because
it.
y'all have a relationship.
We have a relationship
Okay.
pre-existing. I'm going to say fuck pee just because of all of the fetishes, and I don't have a fetish with that, but I know that there are people that have an interest or a fetish in water sports. So maybe I
Yeah.
could learn about it enough to go, I can temper this.
So you would let somebody pee on you
If I had to let them do any of those things, it would be urine first.
and down.
And then barf, I get grossed out. Like,
See,
there's nothing worse than throwing up.
the smell.
The smell, and then also, like, if you're ever, like, really sick and it comes out your nose and your throat.
Oh my
God.
But I mean, see, no, I'm thinking in my mind. No, never mind.
What if you had
It's
to
that like
what if you had to
acidy.
Right. And I said I was going to marry poo. What if in my mind it worked one way, but in reality it was like a massive turd that was like wrapped in a blanket and I had to
Oh
lay
my
next
God,
to
like
it.
this, and you have to like,
And it was a turd.
and then it just stung.
Ugh, and your face
It
got
just smelled
stuck
like
to it.
It just smelled like breath at the club.
Breath at the
after a long night.
Do you ever have people talk to you at the club and it's like the music is so loud and they're like, hey, I want to say hi. And you're like, hi, baby. And you like lean in and then they start talking and you can't hear shit.
Yeah.
And you're not trying to be fake, but you're also not trying to be disrespectful.
I'm not even gonna lie, y'all. I'm gonna be very honest. My great grandmother, she used to like sometimes say things I really didn't know what she was saying when I was young. And you just go like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that in the club.
I always go, oh, that's crazy.
That's crazy. That is
bitch.
Or
you know how
turn
you
around
are.
And you go, bitch, this our song. You sitting here talking.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
that's
saying.
a great distractor. Girl, you sitting here talking and we should be dancing.
That is so smart. I love that.
Yeah.
I usually do that. I'll be like, oh, that's crazy. Or I'll be like, girl, you know how you are. Stop it.
Girl, and then she's like, that's crazy. She's like, yeah, it is crazy, girl. I'm telling you, my man ran off with all my money.
Right.
And I go, oh, I didn't hear that.
Right. Oh, my hearing's gone.
Ooh. So I guess I'm paying for drinks. is that your way of telling me I'm
We're
paying
playing
for
our song.
cocktails?
We should be dancing. Oh my God.
Distraction, honey.
I love that. This is so fun. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. Seriously, this
I
has
love
been
this.
lit.
We
If
need
you
to
ever
do
need me again, I'm down.
We need to do a very like a mashup between our podcasts. We need to do something silly or serious.
Yes.
Or whenever I see your the artwork for your podcast, I always think of like Charlie's Angels.
Yes.
Kind of.
Like, literally, I was going to say that if you ever want to come to the pod, like we're getting ready now to gear up for our second season of the podcast.
It's going to be great.
Like, new surprises to keep continuing the Hall and Closet
Yeah.
tradition. But you definitely have to come on the podcast and
love
be a
that.
guest.
Oh, that's what's so beautiful about the two of you is that you're vastly different but vastly similar.
Yeah.
Like you really are aware of what each other does.
It's the fact that we both like share like the clap. So that's the that's the similarity, and the difference is everything else, including the glamour.
I love it. I mean, you do.
No, yeah, but Heidi, like me, like being with Heidi, and like it's so funny that like we get to like. We like it's odd that we went on Drag Race, we had this experience, and then like, but even though I'm like from a city in Milwaukee and she's from like literally out in the country, we like still like get each other's sense of humor, and we like sometimes we'll be out and something will happen and I'm like, I'll look over and literally she'll say exactly, I'm like, girl, shut up. It's like you're reading my mind. Like we sometimes think the same thing, so it's like fun that we get to like share the podcast. And sometimes I'll look over at Heidi and I'm thinking she knows what I'm thinking and she has no fucking idea.
Right.
So, and that's also some of the fun too, is like either knowing, like getting each other so well, or then like now, like even with the podcast, we like are learning to develop and understand each other even more. It's so fun. It's like a journey.
It is
a magical
fun.
journey, yeah.
It is fun. And I always think of too, like, you'll have those friends where, like you said, where you'll both see the same thing at the same time. And like I've always done that for all these decades now with Raja, where we'll see somebody be like, red shoes. And then like, you know what I mean? You'll just say it, it'll be like, girl hat.
Girl hat.
Hat. And people are like, what are they talking about?
Raja does this thing that is so funny that I love. I'm like, they need to, like, TV needs to hire her just for this. Like, she'll like know how to like see somebody and like find out exactly what their traits is, and she could like break somebody down in like maybe like 5 words.
She's a mess.
5 descriptive words, but not even being mean, but it's like 5 things that would perfectly describe any person. Like even if they change the look that they're doing in drag, their aesthetic, it still rings true. And when we did Drag Race, there is somebody that worked on the show, and she like I'll tell you later, when she described the aesthetic, and it was so perfect. I'm like, why do you not like make characters for a show? She would be really good at that.
I have one to tell you off camera too. That was the same thing where she would do, and it was we got in trouble on Drag Race for this behavior, but it was like they didn't know what we were talking about. They just knew we were talking too much. And you know
about shit you shouldn't be.
And you know when they're like, save it on
hard
ice.
Yeah.
And we were just laughing, and they were like, you guys have to stop laughing. Like, this is ridiculous. And we were like, we promise we're not talking about anything camera worthy. We're talking about like actual stupid shit.
Yeah, just dumb shit. Like leave us alone.
Right.
Girl, I have stories, but one day those stories will come out one day.
Yeah.
In my book.
Yeah.
And I'll probably be wearing this wig and this suit when I write that book.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Love this.
Oh,
I could just sit and talk to you about.
You need to come to the pod.
I need to talk about fart burgers.
I'm telling you, we need to talk about fart burgers. That's why you need to come to the pod. We need to come to the pod, and when you come, we should do like a real quick round of like random things. Because on our pod, we talk about like, it could be anything. It could be like about, we literally, like for my birthday, Heidi brought a scientist that physically worked on the rover on Mars, like actually touched and worked on it. And then I brought somebody who was like literally working on like the business part of this new space rover thing that is going to be cleaning and fixing satellites.
Amazing.
And then we also have like porn stars, and then we have like hairstylists, drag artists, like anything.
Yeah.
So It would be like fun to come and have you, and we just like randomly talk about a bunch of random things. You have a talk show, and we just talk.
I love that.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. We have to do that at some point.
All nonsense.
That's the thing is like when we talk about like other people's podcasts, like come do it this way. There's no schedule.
Yeah.
It's like we'll do it when we do it.
Yeah.
You know, when it makes sense.
Yeah.
And it makes sense for me right now, but I'm saying I think we've got a long road ahead of us. I think we've got a lot of fun stuff coming. I love
excited.
that. Thank you all for listening to Very Delta. You can now search for Very Delta on your podcast apps. We come out every single Monday. And you can find us here on the Mom Podcast YouTube channel. Also, a special hello to everyone watching the talk show on YouTube. Also, you know what's Very Delta? Subscribing to Mom Podcast so you don't miss an episode. You can also send all of your questions to readbedelta@gmail.com. You can follow me on Instagram at DeltaWork. And we now have dedicated socials. If you follow at Very Delta on Instagram and TikTok, you'll get clips and updates, all of that stuff. And where are you on social media?
Oh, I'm so excited to hear that you got like all the like Delta has it on. Like we can go and find and just look at all the clips and everything. Oh, that's good. But you can find me everywhere at Jaida E Hall, everywhere across the board.
I like
Made
that.
It nice and simple. Nobody stole my handles.
The other day I was screwing around, or we were doing some reads. You know, like how you have to do some reads at the end, and I kept trying to say, like, you know, when you're just trying to read it and you keep screwing up. I don't know if you do that, but I screw it up. And I kept saying, JD and Jaida.
Yeah.
Don't forget to see JD and Jaida. And they were like, what? I'm like, I just said.
But you know, it's so funny. Is like in Spanish, my name would be pronounced Jaida.
Okay.
Because it's like with a J.
Yeah.
So it's not really your fault, I guess.
Okay.
It's
not my fault. See,
perspective.
You made me feel, this whole episode, you have made me feel better about everything. I wasn't crazy about food. I wasn't crazy about buying this shit.
That's what I love about the podcast too. I'm like, you can literally put the podcast on where you do anything. You could be like, coloring in a coloring book.
Yeah.
Podcast.
Coloring in a coloring book podcast.
Laundry. Doing laundry and podcast. You know.
Eating fart burgers.
The Fart Burger podcast.
We are going to launch a Fart
America.
Burger podcast. It could just be like a 3-episode thing.
Quick about all the burgers. Talk about burgers. Which burgers made people the most flatulent.
What we could do is we could test out burgers and then report the next day.
Yes. And then the gag is like also you can say like which.
Oh, there's going to be several gags.
Which burger? Oh, bitch. It's going to be fucking the vomit that day. Is. I love you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Join me next week right here. And until then, keep things very Delta. To listen to Very Delta one day early and ad-free, sign up for Mom Plus at mompodcasts.plus. Very Delta is produced by Moguls of Media, a.k.a. Mom. Hosted by Delta Work and produced by Mark Jacobs. Engineered by Margot Padilla and editing by Doug Robertson. Executive produced by Willem Belli, Alaska Thunderfuck, Big Dipper, and Joe Cilio.